Hey everyone, it's me, Joel D. In this video, we're going to talk about how to find profitable keywords. So piggybacking off our last video where we found a profitable niche, now we want to find profitable keywords within that niche. And we want to find about 10 to 20 keywords to start off with because we're going to build our entire content strategy for our blog around these keywords. And it's going to enable us to focus where we need to focus, create content where we need to create content, and build traffic with those keywords as quickly as possible. So I'm going to walk you through step by step over my shoulder in a second, but I do want to go through the steps with you real quick. Step one is going to be starting with a generic keyword, or our generic niche in this case, which is dog anxiety. We'll be using a free tool, Google Keyword Planner, where we're going to be able to run a query around that keyword, and it's going to give us a list of all related keywords to this, and it's also going to give us a lot of statistics and data around it that we can analyze to make sure we're picking profitable keywords. In step two, we're going to analyze the results. We're going to check the average monthly searches, the CPC or cost per click, and the competition around the keywords that come up around our niche. And we really want to focus on high search volume, high CPC, and low competition, and we'll get into each of those. Next, we want to make sure people are willing to pay for the keyword. So CPC is going to be very important when we're analyzing the results. We want a high CPC because the higher it is, the more profitable it is, meaning people are willing to spend more money on that keyword in ads because they're getting a return on their spend. So if it's low, that means that people aren't competing as much for it, mostly because they're not getting a huge return. But if you see a high CPC, that means there's a lot of competition and it's driving the price up because people want that keyword because they know they can make money from that keyword on their website. Once we start finding some of these high CPC keywords, we're going to want to make sure that there's a low SD score. SD meaning SEO difficulty, and that's an Ubersuggest term that I'm referring to, and I'll show you that tool, and I'll show you how you can actually analyze the data from that tool to make sure that, again, we are checking all the boxes. We have high search volume, have high CPC, lower competition, particularly from an SEO perspective. Next, we're going to focus on long tail keywords, similar to what we did with our niche, where we really broke that out into a targeted sub niche so we could eliminate some of the competition and really narrow our focus on a particular audience. We're going to do the same thing with long tail keywords. And by long tail keywords, I mean sentences or phrases that have 3 or more words. We don't want to waste our time and energy on broad keywords like dog or dog blanket, for instance. We're going to want to narrow our focus down so we can compete, because those other words that are too broad are just almost impossible to rank for on the first page of Google. If we focus our time and energy on long tail keywords like best anxiety blankets for dogs, that's so specific that there's going to be a lot less competition. We're going to be able to rank on the first page probably pretty easily and quicker, and we're going to be able to tailor our content around that specific need or want for information for our audience member. So when we do rank higher and we get that traffic, it's exactly what the audience member is looking for, and Google is great at figuring out what the best content is for their audience members. So when we get that traffic, they're also much more likely to convert because they're getting exactly what they want and need from an information perspective. So if we can then promote something within there, so if we're promoting, for instance, those dog blankets, we can send them and direct them into areas of our affiliate programs that are going to get us a commission if they were to purchase something for that. So there's a lot of benefit there, and we'll get into that. Next is searching for similar related keywords and phrases. So once you get the handle of finding long tail keywords, we want to broaden our range of keywords and phrases. So Google wants to know not just that we're into dog anxiety, but we need to broaden that range. We really need them to know that. So we're going to search for similar related keywords and long tail keywords like, swapping out dog for puppies, for instance, would be a good example. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that and create this list. Next is we're going to stack rank all of our keywords for the upcoming content strategy. So again, the purpose of this is to find the top 10 to 20 profitable keywords to start off with, but this is going to be, never ending. And then we're going to stack rank all these, come up with a rating to create our first 5 articles around the top 5 of these 10 to 20. And we're going to develop our entire content strategy around these keywords. Let's get right into it. I'm going to bring you to Google Keyword Planner, and if you don't have an account, I'll provide you with this link in the description below, so check that out. And all you have to do is click on Go to Keyword Planner, and if you don't have an account, it's going to actually send you to a sign up screen. If you do have an account, it's going to send you to this screen, and this is the screen that I'm going to start working from. First, I'll click Discover New Keywords, and we'll assume that in the dog anxiety niche, I have no clue what keywords to focus on for content. So I'll just put in dog anxiety, and I'm going to click enter. You can add multiple words here, but I'm just going to stick with one, and I'll click enter, and it's going to give me this list of results with keyword ideas. I'm going to come over here. This is where I can refine my keyword results, but I'm going to X out of that for now. And what I want to do is focus on this top row right here and show you exactly what you're looking at. So you'll see volume here. This is basically search volume. You can see how many searches per month there are. Cost per click. You can see how much people are willing to spend to get their link clicked when someone searches for this term. Comp score. This is just a competitive score. It's related to this competition score and also this index value. So 1 is pretty much high, or 100. And then you'll see a trend line here. So looking at this from high level, and if you hover over this, it'll show you the volume per month, search volume over the last year. So you can see that this one's averaging around 33,100. Next, you'll see average monthly searches, and again, this is just the range, which 33,000 is within the 10K to 100K searches. Competition's high, competition index value is high at 100, and then what the top of page bid is for the low range. So 44 cents for the low range to get to the top of the page. Side note, this is how I have my columns set up. I mean, you can click on this column little icon here and edit. I created my own view, and if you were to do that, you can actually select or organize this in the way that you want. Now let's focus on the keyword ideas that they're giving us. So right away, I like the ideas that they're providing because the first one is separation anxiety in dogs, and this hits on exactly what I talked about with long tail keywords. This one's a little longer, it's a little more precise, and we're actually getting a higher volume with this long tail keyword and less competition. So that is a keyword that I would definitely want to take and save. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But scrolling down a little, I can see there's other keywords here that I like. So for instance, puppy separation anxiety. This relates to what I mentioned earlier in the video around broadening our range of keywords that we're looking for. So not just dogs, but we're incorporating puppy into the mix. It's just giving Google a better sense of what we're relating our content to, which is dog anxiety, puppy anxiety. It's just giving them more fuel for search engines to pick up our content because we're providing them with a broader range of targeted keywords. I mean, it's a broader range, but it's still very targeted. Now, you can also see that we're verifying some of the products that we saw. So dog anxiety vest, that's pretty high. Calming tablets for dogs. These are all long tail keywords and they're specific to products. So you can see that from a paid competitive standpoint, so paid advertisement, there's high competition, and that goes without saying because these are product specific keywords. And what I'm going to show you is hopefully what we can do is find some of these that are very low from an SEO competitive standpoint. So they're high because people are selling the product, but a lot of times when people are selling products, they're not focused on SEO. The good people that are really in tune with their site and they're an e-commerce business, but they understand the value of SEO, they're going to be the ones that are focused on SEO as well. So there's probably going to be some competition, which is good. However, that's not the majority of people who are selling. So a lot of these people who are selling on Amazon, for instance, they're probably buying ads as well and just directing people to their product on Amazon. They're not focused really on SEO. So this is an opportunity. Also, when I come down, I can see other things that we may not have thought about. So puppy anxiety, anxiety wrap for dogs. Not sure what that is. It's probably similar to that vest. Anxiety jackets, seeing your dog anxiety at night. And then it gets, yeah, like for instance this. So this is actually really targeting something again where it's not just dog anxiety. We're talking about old dogs, and we're talking about at night. So this is another good product, or another good keyword, sorry, long tail that we could potentially focus on. And the list goes on and on. And something else to note here is, like, for instance, best calming aid for dogs. This has buyer intent. So usually if you have the word best in there, and I'm going to show you how to kind of fine tune your keyword research by including buyer intent words like best. This is just saying like, hey, it's going to have value, and this is why it's a high competitive score here, and it's up to $1.50. So this is going to have buyer intent, because if someone's looking for the best calming aid for dogs, they're not just looking for information, they're looking for something to purchase. It's just a more precise keyword string that shows that someone's looking to buy something. All right, with all that said, I want to now narrow my search results down. So I'm going to actually come up here and filter, because there's 754 keyword ideas, and I want to create my own spreadsheet to get started with tracking these keywords. So I'm going to filter here, and I'm going to say I just want low, medium, and top of the page bid greater than or equal to $1. I'm going to actually change that though, because I want this to be lower, because this is the low range. So I'm going to say actually 40 cents here maybe. So let's change that to 0.4. Click apply. And now I'm going to be down to a much lesser volume of keywords. And what I'm going to do now is take these and I'm going to download the keyword ideas. I can do that, or I can click export CSV. I'm going to do that. Once we download the file, I'm going to go out to the spreadsheet and I'm going to tidy this up and make this my keyword tracker template. So I'll get rid of these first two columns. Anything that I don't care about, I'm going to get rid of. This doesn't look like it has anything important because it's average search volume, and they broke that out into minimum search, maximum search. So this is now not applicable. So I'll delete that. And then none of these have any data in it that I care about. So I'm going to delete all of these columns and give myself a little room and visibility into the columns. So now I can see that I have my keywords here. Currency, I don't really care about. Obviously, I'm in the US, so that's a US dollar. I can delete that. And this is just going to make it easier for me when I go into other tools to use a similar format, so I can kind of compare and contrast when we start ranking our keywords and stack ranking them and determining which ones are most important for our launch, and then how we can utilize all of these in a strategic way to build out our content strategy. Now I'm also gonna add a data filter. So if I wanted to, now I could search by, let's say I think competition is important. I want the lowest competition so I can rank the fastest. I can click on smallest to largest here, and then I can scroll down and just look quickly in the minimum search volume, or I could filter if I really wanted to, which I'm not going to do. Just from visibility standpoint, these numbers are much larger than these. So I can see nervousness in dogs is the first one that I pick up on and I like it. Best dogs for anxiety. This one doesn't mean much to me because this is not what we're focused on. This is actually talking about the dogs themselves, on helping people with anxiety. So I'm going to delete that one right away, but I'm really going to be focused on this one, nervousness in dogs. Instead of using the word anxiety, again, like we talked about, we're broadening our range. We can incorporate the word nervousness in dogs within our content. And there's low competition. There's a high top of page bid range, meaning it's lucrative. $5 people are willing to spend on this. So this looks like a really good term that I would want to focus on. Now scrolling back down, there are some others. Again, this gets more specific. So anxiety separation for beagles. So we could maybe create an article around that, you know what I mean? So beagle specific separation anxiety. What else? A lot of these keywords you can see though are best dogs to help with anxiety, best dogs for anxiety relief. So you want to go through this with a fine-tooth comb and actually remove any keyword that's not really related. We're not focused on that. Maybe down the road we can start incorporating that too into our blog, but at this point we're not talking about dogs themselves helping people. We're talking about how people can help their dogs. So I'd get rid of this. I'm going to clean this list up. I'll save it, and then any other tool where we're looking at other keywords or other types of data around search volume, CPC, SEO scores, or I'm going to add, which reminds me, I will add an SEO score here. So SEO difficulty. And I use, again, Ubersuggest for that, which is a free tool, and that's the next step that I'm going to show you here. So this is a good start. I'm going to actually do this offline where I clean this up a bit, and I'll have my own little tidied initial start to a keyword tracker. Okay, now that I've cleaned up that list, this looks much better. I pretty much had to just eliminate most of the people that were looking for dogs within the search results. So dogs, service dogs, rescue dogs for people with anxiety. That was the majority of the list. So this worked out great. I have now 35 keywords, or not even, 31 keywords left over. And this is just the start of my keyword tracker. So I'm going to utilize other tools now. I'm going to start with these keywords and build upon the ones I think are the most attractive based on the SEO difficulty scores that I can figure out once I use these other tools. And then I'll have a much better idea on which keywords that I want to use in my stack ranking to determine what we want to launch with. I'm going to hop back over to my web browser, and I'm going to go to Ubersuggest.com. And I'll type in our generic niche that we've been typing in just to get things started and see what it comes up with here. So I'll click in dog anxiety and click enter. Now this is my free account. I have a paid account, but I wanted to show you what you would see with a free account. So if you click a search query and something pops up and it says to log in with Google, you may have to provide your email, just an FYI. So here we go. Dog anxiety has search volume, which is high, 18,100 per month, which is good. The SEO difficulties 54, which isn't terrible, but it's not as easy as it would be if it was in the teens, let's say. But it's not something that we couldn't deal with. Paid difficulty, like we saw, is 100. There's a lot of products around it, especially in that lower price range. And the cost per click is $1.43. So we already knew that from Google. Now, I use Ubersuggest more than Google Keyword Planner. Just a heads up, I would probably start right from here. I did want to show you the Google Keyword Planner because it's critical, especially if you're going to run paid ads to your blog or whatnot. You're going to want to get familiar with the Keyword Planner, and I did want to show it to you. But from here on out, I'd probably just start with Ubersuggest. And again, if you have another tool, and I have plenty of tools that I use, so I'll link some other SEO tools within the description below that you can take a look at. But this is just my preferred software that I use, and I have no affiliation with Ubersuggest. I don't even think they offer an affiliate program, so I'm not selling you on that one. I will offer other paid tools that do have affiliate programs, but I'll link those below, and they're excellent. This one's just great for, specifically beginner friendly when we're looking to kind of figure out keywords that we want to rank for. Now, going back up to the top, let me give you another quick overview. So this we already went through. It's a high level snapshot of what our search volume looks like, what our SEO difficulty looks like, paid and CPC. Next, we're going to see that we break down the volume of traffic by mobile versus desktop. So most of the time you're going to see mobile traffic higher than desktop searches, especially this day and age. Here you'll see how many people click on SEO results versus if they click on paid results versus if they clicked on nothing. So they just searched for this keyword term and was like, I don't like anything, and they left. Then it'll show you the age range and demographics here around who's looking for it and what age group. And no surprise, the majority of these people for dog anxiety are between 35 plus. And then we'll get into the keyword ideas, and this is going to be helpful for us as well. So it'll give us suggestions, and then we can actually click on view all keyword ideas, which I'm going to do in a second. But then it'll actually break it out into related keywords to questions. So not just suggestions, but what's most related, what are the questions people are asking. So how to calm dog anxiety, how to help dog anxiety. And then it'll give you prepositions, dog with anxiety separation, dog with anxiety. And then it'll also give you comparisons. So dog anxiety and aggression, dog anxiety rap versus thunder shirt, dog anxiety and panting, etc. So coming back here, you'll see that it's going to show you the trend line, the volume, CPC, paid, difficulty, and SEO difficulty. Right away, I already like this one. Dog with anxiety separation, high volume, over $1 CPC, lower paid difficulty than just dog anxiety, and much lower SEO difficulty. So these are critical when you're looking for this. So there's going to be a ton of people who don't go to this extent to look for keyword research. They're just going to focus on dog anxiety, and they may do well, but look at this. With dog with anxiety separation, you can do better. There's more volume. There's lower CPC, lower paid difficulty, and a much lower SEO difficulty, so you can rank higher and easier this way. So this is how critical this can be to your success with your blog. Now, if you come down here, it's also going to give you content ideas, and you'll see actual articles that they can that you can go out to and look, and we'll do that at a later time. Another key thing to look at here is Facebook and Pinterest social interaction, and you can see Facebook is, there is a ton of engagement. This is just another identifier that we're in a great niche, that people are really engaging in the content. And these are, this for instance is a post with this isn't going to be too accurate because it's probably a new post, but there's no backlinks. There's it's not even tracking visits yet. So, and there's 65,000 interactions with it on Facebook. So it's very intuitive, this quick, easy dashboard, easy to understand. And then when I keep going into it, you'll see that there's other ways to figure out keywords that we can maybe focus on. And we're going to do that right now. I'm going to click here on this view all keyword ideas. This is typically what I do next. I can see dog anxiety. We already went through some of this. He gives options to export this into a CSV as well. So once I narrow this down with filters similar to what I did before, I can actually export that and then easily copy it into my tracker, the ones that I want to keep, and keep the ones I don't want out. So I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to actually filter the results. And similarly to what I did with Google Keyword Planner, I'm going to say a minimum cost per click is in that point. I'll say 0.5 for this. SEO difficulty max, I'm going to say I don't want anything above 50. And anything I want to include or exclude, I'm going to keep it just like this. So over 0.5 for a minimum cost per click and nothing higher than a 50 for SEO difficulty, and I'll click apply. Now that we've run that query, I can see instantly quickly that if I see anything green for SD, that's very good. That's just saying there's a lower SEO difficulty. I can rank higher quicker with these keywords. So dog with anxiety separation, we already saw that one, but let's keep scrolling down. So here's another good one. Dog with anxiety symptoms, dog anxiety symptoms, keep scrolling. Dog for anxiety therapy, that's not related again. That's gonna be more related to helping people. Dog anxiety attack, that's another good one. We're not using, well, actually we are using dog anxiety there. Dog anxiety rap, dog anxiety music, another cool little niche in itself for writing content. Can dog have anxiety? So FAQs on your site, we could start tracking some of these. So can dogs have anxiety? It's just another way to rank high and be more exclusive to dogs and anxiety. And keep going down. Dog anxiety at night. And by the way, I'm probably skipping some great mid-level SEO difficulty keywords, but I just want to show you kind of how I'm starting to, determine which keywords are right for me. Keep going down. Dog anxiety thundershirt, dog with anxiety disorder, dog anxiety disorders, dog for anxiety and depression, what causes dog anxiety. Keep going. Dog anxiety issues, and the list goes on and on. I mean, there is a ton of info. You can see the volumes going down, and then if I go down too far, I can see that it stops telling me because I need to upgrade to get more than the amount of data that we're seeing. Also, while we're here and we have this filter set, we can look at related keywords. So going back to what we were talking about earlier in the video, I want related keywords. So this is a good way to do that. Questions, prepositions, comparisons, again, also a good way to do that. Service dog anxiety, dog anxiety symptoms. This is pretty similar to what we were seeing, but I'm sure if we look through this list, we could, here we go, dog anxiety separation training. So this is another great long tail keyword that I would look into. Anything else? Signs of dog anxiety. These are great. I mean, we have a plethora of keywords that we can really look at. So now I'm going to go back to suggestions just to show you how I kind of finagle between spreadsheets in tracking these keywords, because there's, in this instance, there's just so many to choose from, and we want to pick the best ones. So I'm going to actually export this to a CSV again, and you can export 33 or more if you upgrade. No thanks. And now that we've exported the results from Ubersuggest, I went ahead and cleaned that up. I really cleaned up my other keyword tracker, which you're seeing right now, which is just the keyword, what the search volume is, what the cost per click is, and what the SEO difficulty is, which I haven't figured that out for these specific keywords from Google, from the keyword planner. But I'm going to take the words that I just found and I'm going to add them to this tracker. So these are from Ubersuggest. I do have the SEO difficulty score for that. And this is, again, just a way for me to track the keywords that I'm thinking of targeting. Then I'm going to make sure that I don't have any duplicates, because most of the time, especially when you start tracking a lot of keywords at once, where not, because we're just trying to focus on 10 to 20 to launch. But as you start moving along with your blog, you're going to have keyword lists that can kind of run up there in numbers, and we want to make sure that we don't have any duplicates. So I'll usually just, when it's this low, sort by name and just look real quick, and you can see that there's some which this doesn't really add up, but there are a number of duplicates. So I'm going to take them and I'm going to remove those duplicates. So Benadryl for dog anxiety, I'll probably get rid of this one. This seems more accurate because this was, if you remember, in the 1,000 to 10,000 range. So it's actually at 1,900. The CPC, there's some discrepancy there. I'm not sure exactly. Actually, I do know why, because for the Google search results, this is the top of the range. So this is more of an average. So again, this is kind of why I like Ubersuggest more. It doesn't give you those ranges. It kind of averages everything out for you and provides you with more accurate numbers as well. So I'm going to get rid of all the duplicates, and then we're going to take the keywords that we have here that we haven't found the SEO difficulty level for and actually run them through Ubersuggest as well. Although going down my list here, it looks like there really is just one exact duplicate. The other one that I thought was a duplicate is here, but it's actually how to calm dog anxiety, how to help dog anxiety. So there's only one duplicate here, so that's good. I'm going to go ahead and now resort by search volume. And there was a couple keywords. Like I said, I want to go back now into Ubersuggest and try to fill in this SEO difficulty number for keywords that I think are prominent. And here is one. Nervousness in dogs is one I really wanted to look at, and dog trainers for separation anxiety. This is a consulting offer potential, and this actually, and again, we could also, I mean, there's always ways to generate copy around that as well and content, but nervousness in dogs is better for that, and dog trainers for separation anxiety is better for a consulting offer. So I'm going to look at both of these. So I'm going to take nervousness in dogs, and I'm going to go over to Ubersuggest, and I'm going to plug in nervousness for dogs and click search. And here I am, and I like the look of this already. So this is actually one of the first, I would say, if I were running this blog and starting this up, this would be one of the first keywords that I focus on. Nervousness in dogs. There's 4,400 searches per month. There's an increased cost per click. Remember, this is more of an average, but it tops out around almost $5, so it's profitable. There's a low paid domain search, so I could even probably put together something if I really wanted to drive traffic from a paid advertisement perspective. And the SEO difficulty is super low, 15. This is top-notch keyword that I would be looking for. It's profitable, high CPC, and very good volume. Then I'll come on back to the keyword tracker, and I'm going to add an additional column that is, I don't know, just I'll add it as flag right now, but basically this is just going to identify that it's a top pick. So maybe I'll do top pick. Nervousness in dogs, 15 was the SEO difficulty, and top pick is going to be, I'll just say yes for now. Great. Now I'm going to take this next keyword, which is a consulting offer potential, and I'm going to copy this and bring this over as well to Ubersuggest. So let's go over and put that in, click enter, fingers crossed. And again, love it. Not only that, they're giving us some suggestions right around that, and they're all green. Obviously, I'm going to look more for the high volume or a high cost per click. So dog trainers for separation anxiety, 1,600 searches, dog training for separation, or dog trainers, dog training. And then these are low volume, so they're not awesome or anything, but they are still high cost per click and low for SEO difficulty. So I like this. This seems like a good potential for my consulting offer. And again, back over to the keyword tracker, and I'm going to actually add a little tidbit here and just put training as well. This will just tell me that there's two variations that I could use: dog trainers and dog training for separation anxiety. I'm going to add the SEO difficulty of 20, and I'm going to say top pick for consulting. So if I put yes at this point, anyway, I can change this up at any point, but yes just means great for content, potential article to publish around this, and consulting means it's related to what I want to pursue for a consulting offer. Then what I would do is just go through this list and continue to do what I just did. Just from a high level perspective, there's more advanced things that we can do down the road, but when we're first starting off, don't get too deep into rabbit holes where you're overanalyzing. We want to just get out of the gate with some of these potentials to have a high impact on our site. So I went ahead into Ubersuggest, I cleaned this up, I found the SEO difficulty score, I scratched the lower search volume keywords, and I kept the ones that I thought were the best that I found at this point. And I cut this down to 35. So I do want to slim this down even further, but we're going to slim this down when we do the next video, and then we're going to also rank this. So I'm going to add a column here, call it ranking or rank, and this is how I'm going to stack rank this on what is the most important and what we're going to start out by creating content for. Okay, so let's head back over to our PowerPoint deck and just recap what we just learned. So we're trying to find our top 10 to 20 profitable keywords. We started off with our generic niche, and we started analyzing the data around the related keywords around monthly searches, cost per click, what the competition looks like, etc. We checked to see if people were willing to pay for that word based on cost per click, whether or not there was a low SEO difficulty so we could compete quickly and get moved up in the Google rankings and all search engines quickly and efficiently. We then focused on our long tail keywords within that niche, so that kind of goes hand in hand with the lower SEO difficulty and lower competition. And then we searched for similar related keywords and phrases. We did that by, swapping out some words or adding different types of phrases. So for example, not using anxiety all the time, but we use nervousness in one example, or also if we're talking, medication for anxious dogs, we could just rephrase that the way it's being asked. And that just gives search engines a better way to identify us as someone who is trying to give our audience just all the knowledge that they can around that particular subject. Then we use our keyword tracker to kind of monitor everything that we're doing with this. Just a simple tracker, nothing crazy at this point. We just want to really stay focused. So eventually we're going to stack rank those keywords that we're looking at right now, but there is one more thing I want to teach you in the next video, which is competitive research. So we're going to take these keywords, we're going to look for the best articles, really dive into our competitors' articles, see how they're formatting everything, see how they're utilizing the keywords, see what their on-page SEO looks like, then also how they're monetizing on their site. And you'd probably be surprised at the way that they're doing this. If you haven't really been a blogger in the past, you probably don't notice that most of blogs are monetizing in a certain way, and you're probably going to a lot of sites that you didn't even know were really blogs. You're just looking for that information. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to show you some of that and how we can strategize around that. Once we do that, we're going to put everything together, stack rank everything, and then come up with our content strategy. Can't wait. Great job. Thanks for hanging in there. These have been some intense trainings, and trying to keep them short as possible so it's directly to the point. But I mean, obviously there's a lot to cover, so we get out into that 40-minute range a lot of times, trying to keep them as short as possible though. So thanks again. Reach out, if you need any help. I'm here. So email me. If I don't answer you right away, it's because I get a ton of emails, so bear with me, but I will respond to everyone and everything that you need. So thanks again. We'll see you in the next video where we crush our competition. All right. Thanks, everyone.